Mickey and Donald Have a Farm is definitely a really interesting episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse for several reasons. This kick-started the 4th season and there are quite a few changes, and honestly, I don't know if I would have noticed that the voice of Mickey Mouse had changed. Unfortunately, Wayne Alwyn had passed away, and Mickey Mouse is now voiced by Bret Iwan, who I think does a great job. Because I was aware of the change, I can notice it. I don't know if I instantly would have picked up on the change if I hadn't been made aware of it, but certainly you can tell the difference if you listen for it. Another change is that, well, a kind of change, is that Toodles is talking, voiced by Rob Paulsen. Toodles did talk in the previous season here and there, but he seemed to talk throughout this episode. I don't know if that's something that's going to continue as a main feature throughout this season, but I will find out as I watch it. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Toodles having a voice. I could get on board with him having a face. That doesn't look too jarring, but there is just something unnerving about having a voice. Nothing wrong with the voice itself, but definitely having a voice I still am not used to. But of course, the main change is that Mickey and Donald now have a farm. There is a Clubhouse farm, and honestly, now that it exists, it makes perfect sense. I feel like it's an addition they could have brought in ages ago. It obviously is going to open up the doors for new narratives, new problems. The problems here is that the animals have all gone missing. It's a very windy day and they've kind of disappeared and they have to try and track them down. And there's an interesting moment with a cow stuck in a swing, and Donald's reaction to that I thought was brilliant. My one wish when I started watching this is that they would sing Old MacDonald had a Old MacDonald had a farm. I don't know why that was a tongue twister for me. And they did. They do. They sing a variation of it, which is around the theme of Mickey and Donald have a farm. Do. And being the Disney fan, I love that element. I love the concept of Mickey and Donald coming together and having a farm. A lot of the classic Mickey Mouse cartoons centre around barns, barnyards and farms. There are a lot of cows in it. Clarabelle initially appeared in her earliest forms as a cow who would stand on 4 legs, rather than an anthropomorphized cow on 2 legs. So it's kind of got little elements of classic Disney, which for me as a Disney fan I really like. I also love the outfits. They had very, I guess, stereotypical farmer outfits, but it worked very well. So the Disney fan in me was very happy with this episode. From a historical perspective, it's obviously quite monumental to have this new voice of Mickey Mouse. There have only ever been a small handful of people over the years who have voiced Mickey, and I don't know for certain if this was the first time that Bret Iwan voiced Mickey Mouse. If this was kind of the introduction, I don't know, but certainly it's very interesting to hear. So I thought it was a very strong opener for season 4. There are some very obvious changes that will be interesting to observe. I'm keen to see what they do with this farm, as long as every episode isn't about the farm, because I think that would become quite boring quite quickly. But it's definitely a new opportunity for merchandising. It wouldn't surprise me if they've capitalised on that by making Mickey and Donald farm playsets, etc. And so they should, because that's the kind of toy I would have loved as a child, if this had been a show that aired when I was younger. Mickey and Donald have a farm. It's definitely a really strong start to season 4.